What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing something a little different than the usual beauty, makeup, and hair stuff. So I wanted to talk about something that I've been going through for some time now, and this is something that I've been struggling with, and I just want you guys to know that I'm not doing this for attention. I just kind of want to express the way that I feel and what I'm going through, and at the same time bring awareness to the topic, because not a lot of people talk about it, and you know, a lot of women who go through this don't really like to talk about what they're going through, or they think that they're alone. And I'm just doing this video so that you know that you're not alone if you're going through the same thing, that we're all in this together and we're gonna get through it. So for about almost 6 months now, I've been struggling with postpartum depression, and it has been one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with my entire life. And you know, I've suffered with depression and anxiety before this, but this in particular, like this category of depression, has just been probably the worst depression that I've ever felt in my life. It all started when I gave birth. You know, for some people it starts over time. Usually you have the baby blues when you first give birth, and that's pretty normal, but then if it goes past a certain amount of time, then it's postpartum depression. But for me, the moment I gave birth, I felt it. So when I gave birth to my daughter, she had something called a shoulder dystocia, which means her shoulder got stuck on the way out. So, you know, I was in labor for 12 hours and it was painful, but I got through it, and that was not the worst part at all. And I got an epidural an hour prior to me actually giving birth, so when I started pushing I couldn't really feel anything. Let me just tell you, right, I didn't know anything. What I'm telling you now, I didn't know it was happening until after everything was said and done, when the doctors came in and actually told me everything that happened. Because it all just happened so fast that I was confused, and I was just crying, trying to figure out what was going on. But so anyway, I was pushing and she got stuck, and then all I hear is a doctor yell, "Shoulder," and like out of nowhere, 20 doctors. I'm probably exaggerating, but that's what it felt like, and that's what I imagine in my mind that happened, was that a lot of doctors rushed in there, and one doctor, she jumped on my bed and she, like, not kidding, started punching my belly. So, you know, like, they weren't communicating to me what was happening, so I was just crying and I was confused, and I was just really, really scared. But I guess what was happening was they were trying to get her out of me before things got worse. They finally got her out of me, and she was not breathing at first. Like, you know, you have this birth plan and you imagine stuff to be a certain way, and then it doesn't go the way that you want it to. I wanted her to, as soon as she came out, wanted her on me. I didn't care if she was clean. I didn't want any, you know, I just wanted her on me right away, and it didn't happen that way. The moment that she came out, they kind of set her on my belly for not even a second. They put her on and they took her off, and they took her away, and She didn't cry right away, which was my number one concern. I was, really scared. I didn't know if she was okay. I didn't know what she looked like. It was just really scary for me, and my husband was just there trying to comfort me and make sure that I was okay. He didn't even know what was going on either, so it was pretty scary for the both of us. At one moment in the hospital, it all just hit me. They made me stay in the hospital for a few days to make sure that I was okay. And I just remember the little things that I remember. I just remember holding my daughter and just crying because of how scared and traumatized I was because of everything that had just happened. I thought, like, what if she wouldn't have made it? And it all just happened so fast, and I don't really remember everything. And you want to remember the pretty parts, and it sucks that all that I remember from giving birth is that one moment where the doctors hurt me really bad and my daughter almost didn't make it. And then I just remember being in the hospital and just crying all the time, and I thought, maybe it's just baby blues, because that's what everyone says. First few weeks of you giving birth, it's normal for you to be really emotional, and I wish I could tell you guys like details of what was going on in my head, but everything is such a blur, and I just remember crying all the time. The whole time I was in the hospital, I just cried. And I had to learn how to breastfeed my daughter, and that was another trigger for me because I didn't know what I was doing as a first-time mom, and then doctors were putting a lot of pressure on me, and even my husband was putting pressure on me, and people expect all this to just come natural, and that's not the case at all. And she wouldn't latch on to me, and I was struggling, and I ended up getting formula while I was at the hospital. And I just felt really, really guilty because from the get-go, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to breastfeed her, but she wouldn't latch properly, and they don't really send you on your way with a pamphlet telling you how to be a mother. And with the whole breastfeeding thing, that was probably one of the biggest things that made me really depressed and made me cry all the time, was just her not really wanting to latch on properly, and me being in so much pain, and me wanting to give up. I didn't feel like I was connected to her, and as bad as this sounds, I hope no one judges me for this, but my daughter, she didn't come out looking anything like me at all. She had blue eyes, she was really pale, she had straight hair, and it was like the total opposite of me. And in a way, it didn't feel like she was mine. I don't think I was doing it on purpose, but when I was in the hospital, I didn't really spend a whole lot of time holding her. I kind of just handed her off to my husband, and the reality was that I didn't really feel connected to her. I didn't really feel like her mom. Even now, I still struggle with it sometimes, but I love her so much, and I hope that if one day she does see this video, she doesn't think that I don't love her, because that's not the case at all. I love her very, very much. It's just, it's really hard sometimes. Like, you have this feeling and these thoughts that you can't really control yourself. Well, I expected not to sleep much, but she cried a lot. She was real colicky at the beginning. I had my mom here and I had my mother-in-law here, but I still felt very, very alone. And that's what sucks about this, is that even when you have people around, it feels like you're alone. After I gave birth, I was kind of expected to just know what I was doing, just get up and get things done, even though I was recovering, you know, physically and mentally. There were times where my daughter would be crying so much that I didn't know what to do. And I feel terrible for this, but sometimes I just walk to another room, and that's kind of what kept me from doing something that I didn't want to do. I'd cry, and then whenever I felt a little better, I'd come back to her. And I've heard a lot of stories of women that go through this, but it didn't even matter how much I did research on it. You don't know how something's gonna be until it's actually happening to you, and it hit me all at once. There are days where I feel okay, but more than anything, there are days where I don't want to get up, I don't want to go to work, and sometimes I don't even want to be a mom. And I know it sounds terrible, and I wish that I didn't feel this way. Trust me, no one who's going through this wants to feel the way that they do. But it's true, sometimes I wish I wasn't a mother, and sometimes I feel like I'm not deserving of it, and sometimes I feel like my daughter is better off without me. And I don't want to feel that way anymore. It's really hard when you have people who don't really understand what you're going through. I know my husband tries, and I really appreciate it. But there are moments where, like, I feel like there's a voice inside of me screaming, or there are thoughts in my head that want to come out, but they won't make it past my mouth. And it's hard. There were also times where I'd wake up just to make sure that she was breathing. I barely slept, and when I finally did close my eyes, I was just worried about whether she was alive and breathing, and I'd get up really close to her and watch her and see if she was breathing and touch her. Sometimes I'd wake her up just to make sure that she was alive. And still to this day, I do that. I struggled a lot with my thoughts, like whether she was okay, and it would be like normal situation. Like, I'd be walking down the stairs with her, and then out of nowhere in my head comes this picture of me falling down the stairs and landing on her or something like that. Or if I was in the car with her driving, and then all of a sudden a car hit us. And it sucks even worse because I'm in the military, and the military really sucks with mental health stuff. Now, I wish it wasn't that way, because you would think that the military will be the first people to do whatever it takes to make sure that their people are okay, especially mentally, because of all the things that we already go through. But that's not the case. I went to my postpartum visit at 6 weeks postpartum, and my doctor said I have postpartum depression, and they were gonna give me a mental health evaluation. I gave birth in November. I went there in December, but I didn't get my mental health appointment till April. I literally just started going to therapy, and you know, they think that I need to go on meds, which honestly, at first I was really scared of. That's not something I've ever wanted to do. I never wanted to go on medication, but if it means it's gonna help me get better, it means I'm gonna be able to take care of my daughter better and be there for her, then I'm all for it. But when I went to my first visit, the doctor said that she was gonna give me a medication consult, and you know, it took about 2 weeks for me to even get the referral. And when I finally called the place where they sent my referral to, they said that my appointment's not till July, and it's May right now, so you can already tell how much the military cares for their people. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna continue my therapy sessions, and in hopes that things get better. And I just want everyone to know that if you're going through this right now, you're not crazy. It happens. Sometimes you can't even control it. And you're not alone. You're not alone. Even though it might feel like it sometimes, you're not alone. I always pray to God. That has helped me a lot. And if you're a husband watching this right now, please be there for your wife. It's already hard enough on them, and they need all the support that they can get. And you know, it just sucks at times. You kind of just have to get up and pick yourself up and just continue walking and try to make the best of every situation. Right now, that's just what I'm trying to do. Just try and get up and be the best mom that I can be for my daughter, and hopefully one day not have to feel the way that I'm feeling right now. So yeah, I know this was a really sappy video, but I really wanted to talk about this. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.